So what I've done now is I've created another layer for value 1, which is the 5% gray, and I've gone ahead and I've created the shapes that are for these lighter colors in the photo. All right, so I have only one value left to do, and that's the black. So since that's my darkest value, I'm going to call that value 5. But I'm going to put that above the other values because if we hide these layers, we can see that black is the most dominant value in this photo. So I'm going to just leave these layers hidden for right now, but I'm going to make sure that I lock all of them. And I'm going to create a new layer, and I'm going to create that, I'm going to name that value 5, and I'll put 100%. 100% gray is the equivalent of black, so we'll just call it that. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because my black value goes all the way to the edges of this image, I'm just going to use the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. And for this, I might want to go ahead and put on the snap to grid, and that way that'll help to keep um, my rectangle right to the edge of this image. All right, and I want to, at this point, I just want to make sure that the fill is at none, and the stroke should be at black. Okay, so there is a black rectangle. If I hide the image, you can see there's a rectangle there. And that's going to be the basis of my black value. So now I'm going to draw some shapes for these areas that are not black, that bleed off of or go right to the edge of our image. So I'm going to use the pen tool for that, and I'm going to go outside of the edge of the image. I'm just going to overlap the outside, and actually let me turn off snap to grid so that this runs more smoothly, or that I'm able to draw more smoothly. And I'm just going to follow the contours here. And remember, we've got to make some decisions. We're simplifying this image. We're not trying to uh, reproduce every single pixel. So we have to make some decisions about what we're going to leave out. I'm not going to put every single little black pixel in here, but I have to decide where the contour of that, I might do this one. Let's do this one. So we have to make some decisions about where our contours are going to be. All right, now I'm going to make a closed path. Oops. Okay. Let's do these other areas where a value other than black goes to the edge of the image. And I'm going to start outside of the edge of the image. So and you might want to zoom in so that you're really following the contours of your value. One thing I'm being careful of is I see that there's some of the 70% gray back here, and I want to make sure that I reveal that. I don't want to cover that up, because if I do, then my image will not seem to have the amount of dimension that I'd like it to have. Okay. So what I'm going to do for these is I'm going to use the Pathfinder to punch these areas out of my black. So let's go ahead and just put the fill at black right now. And I'm going to select a path that I want to punch out, and then I'm going to hold shift and select my rectangle, and then I'm going to use the minus front and see how it subtracts that that shape from my rectangle. So I'm going to do that to the others. All right, so minus front will do that. All right, now I want to continue drawing, so I'm going to reverse this again. I'm going to make my fill none and my stroke black. All right, so now what we have to do is reveal this face. So I'm going to draw with the pen tool a shape that will allow us to show the details inside the face. Now, again, I'm making some decisions here about where my contours should be. You can see I'm leaving out some larger areas of hair, but those are some things that I might go back into later and add those. But for now, I'm just trying to get the basics down, or the basic contours of our black value in this image. Again, I'm simplifying this. I have to make some decisions about how I want to translate these pixelated edges into smooth contours, smooth vector paths. And you zoom in as close as you need to in order to see the detail and to be able to place your anchor points accurately, or as accurately as you need to. I'm being careful so that I don't want to cover up this 70% value because I want that to show through. So again, I'm making decisions about the shape of the path, how simple it's going to be. If there's any pixels of black that I need to leave out, that's okay. Remember, I can always edit my path later. I can add more detail later with make some new paths, new closed shapes. But I'm trying to get the basic contour of this face established. All right, here's my original, or my first anchor point that I'm going to click and drag over the top of so that I close my path. This is very important that you close your path. All right, so I'm going to identify some other areas here that I need to create paths for. So again, I'm trying to define my black value. So here I need to create a path here because we're going to want this area to show through the black. All right, let's do the mouth. The nostril. I'm going to do these other little details as well. All right, so let's see where we are right now. It's getting a little bit confusing because we've got a black, we're drawing with a black stroke, and we've got a black image behind us. So let's go ahead and just hide that image for now and see where we're at. All right, so we have got this face that needs to be, let's make this black. All right, so let's see what we've got here as far as paths go. If I click and drag over this entire thing, you can see I've got several paths here. So what I want to do is I want to get this this face shape, this kind of like the outline of the face, to be transparent, because I want the values that are on the layers underneath this to show through, and this part on the neck too also. And then the nose and the mouth, some of these are actually going to be black. So let me just go ahead and select just the neck shape, the shape of the face, and then the our overall rectangle. Select those all at the same time. What I did is I just clicked and dragged over those three paths, and let's make a compound path. So I'm just right-clicking and I'm saying make compound path, and what that does is it makes these areas transparent. Now these other ones, I want these to be black, so I'm just going to go ahead and select these individually. I'm holding Shift as I select these so that every time I click on one, it's adding to the selection. So I have all of these selected all at once, and I can just reverse or swap my fill and my stroke, and those become black. So let's see where we're at right now. All right, this is starting to look pretty good.